Hey, it's Nigel, and welcome back to the Krewe of Japan, a weekly podcast where we take you on audio journeys through Japanese culture. Today's episode is a continuation of our shorter form episodes like we did last week. We'll be bringing you a new challenger to our rapid fire questions series and part 2 of our sneak peek into our episode on New Orleans, Japan music connections.
Alright, just like Lost, we're back on the island of rapid fire questions. And I have with me today a former participant and guest and interviewee, Bradley Trenery, from our English teaching episode. Hey, Brad.
Konnichiwa. That's my Nihongo for today. How good was that? Yeah, 15 years, I learnt one word. Good stuff.
Alright, so, I don't want to keep you up too late because I know it's almost midnight. Not that you're going to bed right this second anyway, but
I was actually watching Netflix, so yeah.
I do that too. And next thing you know, it's 4 a.m.
Exactly.
So what we're going to do is thank you again for coming back on. We have our rapid fire question section that we started after our interview, but wanted to swing back and get you and some of our past guests to participate because we're going to have a scoreboard up on our Instagram where we're going to have all of our the leaders or so forth, whoever has answered the most questions. So gist of it.
You haven't actually told me anything involving these questions, so this is really, I have no idea what's going to be asked.
Yeah, you don't know. No one knows you don't know what's going to happen with these questions. So what I'm going to do is I have a timer on my phone. I'm going to set it to 2 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I say go, I'm going to press start. And then I'm just going to ask you questions and you answer. And we just get through as many as we can within 2 minutes.
Alrighty.
Pretty simple.
Sounds good.
We get some softball questions in here, but, we'll see what else there is in there.
God, yeah. There.
You ready?
Here we go.
You're born for this. All right. So, without further ado, I'm going to hit start and then say go. Okay? Ready?
Gotcha.
Go. Chalkboard or whiteboard?
Whiteboard.
Favorite Japanese food?
Konomiyaki.
Go-to karaoke song?
Oh God, go to karaoke. I have a few. It's my favorite. March of the Pigs by 9 Inch Nails.
Favorite marsupial?
Kangaroo.
Go-to Popeye's side item?
Cajun mash and gravy.
All right. Favorite country to travel to?
America.
Favorite subject in school growing up?
I liked music.
Okay. When you go to a convenience store, what is your go-to snack?
Tuna mayo onigiri.
Which one?
Yeah, tuna mayo onigiri.
You're going on a road trip 3 hours in any direction from your house. Where are you going?
3 hours. I'm going to Sendai.
Who is your favorite Saints player?
I'm a Carolina fan. None of them. Jeez. Michael Thomas.
Favorite non-New Orleans American city to visit?
It's tough. I did like Chicago.
Okay. Would you rather fight 1 Andre the Giant-sized Rey Mysterio or 5 Rey Mysterio-sized Andre the Giants?
I would F up 5 Andre the Giant Rey Mysterio sized.
Yeah. Favorite current NBA player?
Karl Anthony Towns.
All right. Boxers, briefs, or boxer briefs? And I think I know this answer.
What?
Boxers, briefs, or boxer briefs?
Boxers. No, briefs.
Go-to airline for international travel?
Favorite? Singapore.
That's 2 minutes.
Oh,
you did good though. You got through 15.
I could have got more if the karaoke song bloody got me.
I know. That's the trip one. That's the one that gets everybody every single time. So you got through 15. You're winning right now. You're the top. We've done this with I think 3 casts so far, maybe 4.
Yeah.
But you have the most.
Oh man.
It's 2 minutes goes by a lot quicker than you think.
It was the problem was, I had like a mental blank of karaoke because I haven't done it in so long.
Yeah. You want to hear some of the other Brad specific questions I put in here?
The other 9, put them in.
Yeah, the ones we didn't get to. I won't say all of them because I might reuse them on other ones. I don't want to give away too many clues. Yeah,
I'm not going to tell
favorite
anyone.
Xbox game. I know, but everyone else is going to be listening.
Oh, we're still recording.
Yeah, we're still recording.
Okay. I tried not to swear. That's why I thought when you said stop, that would be it.
No.
Oh no.
If you're stranded on a desert island with one non-essential item, what is it?
Stranded in the desert island, non-essential.
Mm-hmm.
So what do you mean non-essential? Like I don't need it to survive?
Yeah, you don't need it to survive.
Basketball.
Okay. You gonna just play with the basketball by itself, or you gonna have a hoop, or
no. I'm gonna. I could make a hoop, but it's mainly just for dribbling.
Can you dribble on sand?
I mean, the whole thing would be in sand. There'd be some area. I could make it.
I
didn't think about that. I mean, what island? It depends what island I'm on. Didn't think about that. I could throw against a tree.
That's true.
I'd do something with it.
Favorite Xbox game?
That's a good question too. I do like. I play a lot of Forza.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of Forza.
All right.
Yeah.
You have to live with one of these in your house for the rest of your life. Australian spider or Japanese centipede?
Australian spider, man.
What's easier to kill, right? What was your favorite touristy place in Japan?
Like super touristy.
Yeah, or like a tourist spot that you like to travel to, even though it's like maybe overpopulated with tourists.
I like Miyajima in Hiroshima.
Miyajima? Okay. Yeah.
It's really pretty. Like it's very very popular. But we went. I went a couple of times, and we went. The first time I went was sunset, and it was just stunning.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
It was with an ex, so I can't keep that photo anymore. It's sad. It was beautiful though, beautiful photo.
You have to send it to me.
I think I deleted it.
Did you? Oh, you deleted it. Oh, damn.
It makes me sad. I don't want to see it. It's a gorgeous photo.
What's your favorite Game of Thrones character?
I did like Tyrion for a while, but the last 3 seasons wasn't great. I'm a Bronn man. I like Bronn.
Yeah, Bronn's pretty clutch. If there was a movie about your life, who would play you?
Well, my students call me Morgan Freeman. They thought I looked like Morgan Freeman.
What?
When I was 23, like when I first got there,
when you're 23,
they were saying Morgan Freeman.
All the gray hair.
And I was just like, my grandfather, maybe. What the hell? And I'm like, no Will Smith, no Denzel. They're like, nah. And it's like Morgan Freeman. I'm like, Power of One, Morgan Freeman? Like, no, Batman Begins, Morgan. I'm like, what? Batman Begins, Morgan Freeman? I was not impressed with that. But if
I don't see it.
I don't either. I don't know. This is like pale, like not pale, but like not a deep, dark color, I guess. If I had a choice, like, well, I'm on 37, 38 now. I'd say some real mixed actors I can think of that's a bit lighter skin than
Tom Cruise,
Keith Sutherland, Kristen Wiig. Oh geez, I'm trying to think. The guy from Atlanta, not Danny Glover, but the weird friend dude. He's kind of lanky.
I know who you're talking about. I haven't seen that in so long.
Oh,
I know who you're talking about.
He's in he just did the Judas and the movie, the Black Panther movie.
I can't remember.
I think he's
Michael B. Jordan. No, he's not in that.
I wish I looked like Michael B. Jordan.
God,
there
you go. Just cast him.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah. I'm just as buff. Just as buff. I tell you, Michael B. Jordan. I'd start questioning my sexuality if he came up to me. I'd be like, "Hey, what's up? What's up, girl?" Oh, that's his name, Lakeith Stanfield.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Yeah. He's a bit
Let's go
weird,
ahead.
a bit lanky. That's kind of me.
Okay. What's your? We got 3 more.
Oh.
Favorite Halloween costume, or just costume
Oh
that you've
God, I
had?
have
Because
so
I know you've
many
had a lot.
costumes. I got so many. My favorite one, I like Left Shark.
Okay, yeah, I was like just about to say your shirt was.
Yeah, yeah. The shirt left. No, but also with Left Shark is I could use my hands as well. Like some costumes you can't like use your hands, so you're just in the costume, and it's a bit annoying. But Left Shark, I actually played a basketball game, and because it was dress up, I hit the game winner as Left Shark. I
Oh, did you?
pulled down a rebound and did a reverse layup, and
Oh
I won
wow,
the game
nice,
as Left Shark. I was like pretty stoked about that. So
nice.
yeah, you can run and do everything in Left Shark costume, so that's probably why. Plus, it's Left Shark. It's just good stuff.
All right, this one I think you'll like this one. Favorite Jessica Alba movie?
All of them.
All of them.
Uh,
That is a valid answer.
uh, like the movie I think she's most entertaining in is probably I like Sin City.
Yeah, I was about to say Sin City is like the first one that comes to mind for me.
Yeah, not just because she plays a stripper. I just like that's a good movie.
That was great. No, I had never even read the comics or anything before when I saw the movie, so I was like really like, wow, this is visually stunning.
Yeah, it was a really really cool, stylish movie. Like the characters didn't get a lot of screen time, but they were able to kind of establish them very quickly. And like Marv was a great character.
Yeah.
Mickey Rourke was really good in that. And then yeah, I enjoyed it. So she's in that. So that's probably my favorite Jessica Alba movie.
There you go. All right, last question. Rank the Star Wars movies, episode 1 through 9, numbers only, but no Rogue One and no Solo.
Oh, okay.
Or any of the other fill-in stuff.
Okay,
No
well,
Mandalorian.
so Empire 5, Star Wars 4. So number 2 is 4. So 5, 4. Jedi. Yeah. So 6 is number 3. Then Revenge is 4. Oh no, I'll put Last Jedi as 4.
Okay.
And then I'll put Revenge as 5. And then God, the last 4 are they're all terrible. I'll put Attack of the Clones just because it was pretty stylish.
Yeah.
Force Awakens ahead of Phantom Menace just because I just remember seeing Phantom Menace the first time in the cinema with my friends, and when it finished, we all looked at each other so confused because we were all Star Wars fans. So we were so excited. And so we were like 12 years old, 13 years old when it came out. So we was excited. Then when it finished, we were just like, what just happened? Like, we had no idea what we just saw. Like, we were so disappointed because we were so excited. And so that was really hard. That was really tough on us. So I remember that moment. And so that's why it's there. Phantom Menace. And then I have Force Awakens Force Awakens is 7th, Phantom Menace is 8th, and then the absolute atrocious, terrible, I will never say a positive thing about Rise of Skywalker, ever.
I was about to say the last one is the last one.
I have never been more upset with a movie than Rise of Skywalker. When I saw it at the midnight screening, and so I was in Tokyo, and so the opening crawl comes up, and then it says, you know, the Emperor lives, and I yelled out in the cinema, "Oh, what the!" And then, like in a like really loud voice, and all of a sudden people turn around, and I'm like, "Oh, I'm sorry," because I was like, "This is how you're going to introduce the Emperor in the opening crawl." Like no reason, nothing. It's just like the Emperor lives.
There's been no hint whatsoever.
Yeah, no hints, and I'm like, this is what you. And then I just kind of knew from there. It was just like, oh, this is not going to be good, and it wasn't.
It's going to be a speed chase. Like literally, the entire movie is just going to be a chase scene.
Yeah, it was just. I just remember like when they did the whole knife reveal thing, and I just went, oh, what? When she's like, she has the silhouette of the knife that matches the Death Star, and I was just like,
Yeah.
what? How does it even work? I was very upset when that movie finished. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you weren't the only one.
Yeah. I'll
Um,
never.
anyway, those were our questions. So you did good. You got
Oh
15
man, the
out of
karaoke one.
15 out of 10.
Because
Yeah, the karaoke
I
one was
have
a good
because
killer.
I can't sing. Like I have a horrible singing voice. I knew that very early on in my life that I could do music, could understand how music works. I just can't sing. So when it comes to karaoke, I have to either do rap or yelling. So if anyone knows Nine Inch Nails' March of the Pigs, it's just screaming swear words. And I do it at the end of the night because then everyone's like, all right, that's enough. We want to go home.
Already drunk and they're like, all right, I'm done.
Yeah, so
This
it's
dude's
like 3
screaming
minutes of the
obscenities.
ultra aggressive obscenities, yelling, and loud, heavy, like industrial music, and everyone's like, "Okay, this has killed the mood. We all want to go home." So it's my mood killer song. But if I'm actually trying to do a song, I do all right with "Can't Stop" by the Chili Peppers, and
Okay.
then "Land Down Under" I do way too many times.
I was about to say that was one that
Oh
you
God!
did.
You know what I should have said? "Under the Sea." That is like my. I've practiced that, and I kill it. I've done it at weddings, at enkais. I destroy Under the Sea. It's it's amazing.
I've heard it, so I know for sure that
You
is
have heard it
a
too, haven't
showstopper.
you? You have heard it, yeah. I don't sing a lot, but when I do, Under the Sea is coming out, and if I'm really drunk, I will absolutely destroy on that. Very proud of that.
All right, well, that's pretty much all I had for your trivia questions, man. You did good. You got 15. I
Man,
think you at this point in time of recording, you are a leader. Now, I can't guarantee that'll stay that way by the time this airs, but
God.
um, for the time being, you will be our leader. Congratulations.
Ooh.
Woo!
The
Clapping.
America question was hard because I always think of New Orleans.
Yeah, I thought you would have nailed that
Well,
one.
no, I thought of New Orleans is
Yeah,
always my number one. Like I always loved New Orleans, but then
but you never thought of a number two.
I just like I have like places I go to, but when I think about what I enjoyed, I think I enjoyed Chicago, but that was because I went to the United Center and saw the Bulls,
Yeah.
and that was the experience I've seen on TV. So it was really cool to like be in front of the statue, and then be in Chicago, and then yeah, I have like little bits and pieces, but every time in New Orleans, just I just feel at home almost. It's just very easy going, exactly how I want it. Like I like New York a little bit, but I don't like LA. But usually New York's anything that I can always say I enjoy going. Did you think I'd get Michael Thomas?
No, I thought you would have gone like
Breeze?
Kamara or something.
Ah, I did until he did the COVID thing. I
Yeah.
liked him until he did the COVID thing.
Yeah.
And I feel Michael Thomas is very underappreciated.
I agree.
Like, so that's why I went with him, underappreciated. But I still stand by my first answer.
None of them. All right.
None of the Saints players.
Well, thank you again for coming back for our episode and for this mini-sode, really, our rapid fire, and just keep listening because you get to hear our competition. You might hear an episode with John or some of our other guests from previous episodes. So stay tuned. Thanks again.
All right. No worries, Dougie.
All right, for the rest of this episode, we're going to transition over to part 2 of our special preview into our New Orleans, Japan Music Connections episode. We'll be picking up right where we left off with a question that was posed for Willie last week. Hope you enjoy. One of the questions I had was, how far back does the New Orleans, Japan Music Connection actually go? Now, you actually wrote a thesis when you were in college about this very subject. And in that thesis, I remember reading it years ago. And of course, I reread it for this episode. And in your thesis, you actually chronicle the relationship with New Orleans music in Japan up until the year 2017, which was when you wrote the thesis. But one thing I want to actually, talk about is how far back does that music connection actually go?
Well, it's a little difficult to tell. I think the most important thing in that story is recognizing that New Orleans is and has been marketed as the birthplace of jazz. So really, when you talk about these relationships, you have to kind of figure out, when does it stop being jazz and when does it start being New Orleans music? Because, to outside listeners, they might love this music, but they might not know it as something that's specifically New Orleans. I do feel that Louis Armstrong was a big figure, though, in representing the city on a global platform, because he toured not only in Japan, but all over the world. He had ambassador type roles with the US government, and he really was a means of using jazz as sort of like international diplomacy. And he toured Japan at least a few times during the 1950s and 60s. So that was a little later, but yeah, it really becomes an issue of, when does it stop being jazz and start being New Orleans music? I think Louis Armstrong represented New Orleans on a global platform. And so he went over there in the 50s, and there are accounts of him getting huge guarantees to perform over there. And this is a man who is repping New Orleans very hard. So I feel like that played a part in it.
Yeah, for sure. So of the genres that are, that have really taken off in Japan, would you say that jazz is even the biggest genre?
Yeah, jazz is, I wish I could remember the exact quotes, but there are some really good quotes out there about how Louis Armstrong basically took jazz from being a genre and turned it to being something that represented New Orleans on a global playing field. And so it's something that, it's just so identified with the city on a global level. When I lived in Japan, I remember one of my favorite interactions was just walking down with the shopping arcades in Sendai. And this elderly man asked, "Where are you from?" And I said, "Oh, I'm from New Orleans." And his immediate reaction was not even to say anything. He just started making trumpet sounds and kind of air trumpeting. And I went, "Okay, yeah, that's New Orleans. No, you've got it right. That's where I'm from."
Nice. Wow. So in your time, like during JET, I'm sure you had an opportunity to really travel around Japan to some degree. I know you're working, but in your spare time, I'm sure you actually got that opportunity to travel. And of the places that you went, what did you did you see any connections to New Orleans and in the music scene while you were traveling around?
Oh, I didn't even have to travel around. I lived in Ishinomaki in Miyagi Prefecture, and Papa Grows Funk had actually played a few blocks down from where I was living. Like, a New Orleans funk band had come all the way from New Orleans, and for some reason decided that they were going to play a show at La Strada. This really, when I say it's a room, it's literally like the size of somebody's living room. They just decided they were going to come over to this kind of middle of nowhere fishing city and do a gig. And I thought that was incredible. That wasn't while I was living over there, but it was a great symbol of how you don't really even have to go that far or look that hard. Even I remember one of the guys who came to instruct taiko lessons at one of the schools I taught. When he found out I was from New Orleans, he was like, "Oh yeah, let's talk about the Meters. Their drummer, Zigaboo Modaliste, is awesome," and stuff like that. You can't. One of the things that I realized when I was living in Japan is that home is never far away when home is New Orleans, because that's the global reach that the city has had. I traveled all the time to go see live music, and there were a lot of instances where New Orleans connections were involved in that. Most close to where I lived in Ishinomaki, I would go see New Orleans style brass music at a New Orleans restaurant in Sendai called Buddy Buddy. One of the guys who I actually saw over there, Mitch, was a guy who had lived in New Orleans for a while. And then another thing is, in Tokyo, my only Mardi Gras, as an adult, not being in New Orleans, I spent watching Funk on the Table, which was a mixture of Japanese funk musicians and New Orleans funk musicians. That was one of Jun Yamagishi's projects that he put together to tour over there.
You just mentioned a name of a Japanese New Orleans based giant, Jun Yamagishi. So can you tell us more about Jun and his impact here in New Orleans and beyond?
I mean, I guess I got to keep it PG. I know there are a lot of words I would use to describe Jun in a complimentary manner. Some colorful language, but no, I mean, he's just a ripper. He is a guitar player who has made his home in New Orleans. He was born in Japan, and in the mid-90s, he moved over here. He left a quite successful career behind in Japan to pursue his love of New Orleans music, and just said, like, this is where I want to be. This is the type of music I want to play. There's actually some really funny stories about him coming here and going to like Mardi Gras Indian gigs, and all the dudes at those gigs just being astonished because who's this Japanese guy who just got off the plane who knows all our songs? But yeah, no, nowadays he's just a ripper. He plays with everybody and anybody. He just shows up to your gig, tears it up, and leaves.
Wow, it's like a drifter,
He really is, though.
It's
because
amazing.
I mean, I've talked with him. A lot of times he doesn't even rehearse with the bands that he plays with. He'll just show up at the gig and just go off. And I think there's a great improvisational magic to that. It keeps it fresh.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. So you've actually had the chance to interview Jun Yamagishi, right?
Yeah, I interviewed him for the Japan Times. When Funk on the Table was going to tour Japan, I interviewed him and another one of his bandmates in that group about some of their connections with Japan. And he actually was a part of one of the benefits post 3/11 that then they used that money to go and help the fishermen in Ishinomaki, where I actually was later placed in Jet. It's a wonderful example of how small the world is.
And that's actually where we're going to end today's episode. Thank you so much for tuning in to our Rapid Fire Questions Challenge with Bradley Trenery and part 2 of our special preview into our New Orleans, Japan Music Connections episode. Next week, we'll resume with our usual full episode release. In the meantime, follow us on social media to stay up to date with the latest from the Krewe of Japan podcast. We're on Instagram and Twitter at Krewe of Japan, that's KREWEOFJAPAN, Krewe of Japan podcast. Until next time.